In recent years, the University of Missouri and the Interfraternal Council has cracked down on Greek life, resulting in the suspension and removal of many chapters across campus. This has led to a change in the way fraternities operate, especially when it comes to social events.
So I think that it's more difficult than it has been in the past for fraternities to throw parties. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that it's more difficult because there are more policies in place. And talking in terms of what the Interfraternity Council has implemented over the last few years, as well as the university guidelines that have been put forth. Fraternities are required to register their social events at least 1 week in advance of the event. I think that's good so that the Interfraternity Council can know what's going on, but also it helps hold chapters accountable for keeping their members safe. It's not anything that the university is doing to go out of its way to get fraternities or to be on the lookout for who is having a party so they can punish them. It's just a way to keep all the students safe. I do think that pushes students towards the bars more because house parties do seem more high risk because people don't want to follow the policies. Registering a social event is more work than not registering a social event, but not registering a social event usually results in social probation in some cases.
Chapters in recent years have been leaning towards renting out the local bars for a night, which is a less risk but more expensive option compared to the traditional house party.
It really comes down to liability and cost at the same time because, there is a lot of liability when it comes to having something in your own house and having people come there, people that you don't really know and don't know if they're going to be a risk or not. So there's a lot that goes into that, but at the same time, we've gotten down to a system where we think that we can manage those risks better than normal. And obviously, house parties are a lot more cost effective if you're talking about just the amount that we're spending on those compared to going and renting out a bar, which does take liability off of us. And it's fun to do it there. But at the same time, you have to consider when something like that's $3,000, $4,000, something like that per party. Sometimes you got to be like, okay, do we want to be cost effective here, or do we want to take the liability off? Because my entire job and my entire exec board's job is to keep the liability as far away from us as possible.
While the fraternity house party isn't dead at the University of Missouri yet, it is clear that many chapters across campus feel as though the risk isn't worth the payoff given the many options for nightlife downtown. Reporting for J2150 and Red Group, I'm Jacob Haspel.